There is a moment, and most people have felt it, where you look up from your phone or your routine or your comfortable little life and you think, is this it? Is this really all I'm doing with my time? That moment is not a crisis. That moment is a gift because it means some part of you still knows there is more. Some part of you hasn't given up. Some part of you is still hungry, and hunger is the beginning of everything. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important things you will ever hear. Not how to be successful, not how to make more money, but how to stop wasting the one thing you can never get back, your life. And we are going to do it in English, because learning a language and building a life worth living require exactly the same thing. Showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Let's start with a truth that most people spend their whole lives avoiding. You are going to die. Not to be dark, not to be dramatic, but because nothing clears the fog like remembering that your time here is limited. The philosopher Seneca wrote almost 2,000 years ago, and his words still hit like a punch to the chest. He said that we do not have a short life, we waste it. Life is long enough, and it has been given to us generously, but we throw it away. We spend it on things that don't matter, on distractions, on waiting, on fear, and then one day we look back and wonder where it went. Think about a typical week. How many hours did you spend scrolling through content you don't even remember? How many evenings passed where you sat in front of a screen and felt nothing, not entertained, not rested, just numb? How many mornings did you hit snooze and tell yourself that tomorrow you would start? This is not a judgment. This is a mirror. Because every single one of us does this. The question is not whether you have wasted time. The question is what you are going to do starting now. Here is what I have learned, and what the most fulfilled people in the world seem to understand deeply. A life well lived is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters. And knowing what matters requires courage. The courage to sit quietly with yourself and ask, what do I actually want? Not what my parents want, not what my friends expect, not what society tells me I should chase. What do I want? What kind of person do I want to become? What do I want to have done when I am old and looking back? These are uncomfortable questions. Most people avoid them by staying busy. Busyness is the great disguise of our time. We fill every silence with noise, every pause with content, every free moment with something to do. Because sitting with yourself and your choices is terrifying. But that silence is where your real life is waiting. Now let's talk about action, because motivation without action is just a feeling, and feelings pass. There is a principle that changed the way I think about progress, and it is this: you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Everyone has dreams. Very few people have daily habits that match those dreams. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is not talent. It is not luck. It is not even time. It is consistency. It is the small, unglamorous, repeated choices that nobody sees, but that build everything. Want to speak English fluently? You do not need years of study. You need 15 minutes every single day, without exception, for months. Want to get fit? You do not need the perfect workout plan. You need to move your body today and tomorrow and the day after. Want to build something meaningful? You do not need the perfect idea. You need to start with what you have, where you are, right now. The enemy of a good life is not failure, it is waiting. Waiting for the right moment, the right conditions, the right mood, the right level of readiness. The right moment does not exist. It never arrives fully formed. You create it by moving. I want to tell you something about language learning specifically, because it mirrors life in a way that fascinates me. When you learn a language, there is a stage called the silent period. It is the phase where you are absorbing everything, listening, watching, taking in, but you are not yet producing. You are not yet speaking. And many learners get stuck there. They understand more and more, but they are afraid to open their mouths, afraid of mistakes, afraid of sounding stupid, afraid of being imperfect. And so they wait. They tell themselves they will speak when they are ready. But readiness in language learning, like readiness in life, is not a state you reach. It is a decision you make. The people who become fluent are not the ones who studied the most grammar. They are the ones who were willing to be imperfect in public, who opened their mouths before they felt ready, who made mistakes and kept going anyway. That willingness to be seen, to be imperfect, to try before you are ready, is the same quality that separates people who build lives they love from people who spend their whole lives preparing to live. So let me ask you something. What is the thing you have been putting off? What is the version of yourself you keep imagining but never becoming? What would you do if you knew that hesitation was the only real obstacle between you and that life? I am not asking you to change everything overnight. I am not asking you to quit your job or move to a new country or tear your life apart. I am asking you to do one thing today, one small, concrete, specific thing in the direction of the person you want to be. Learn 5 new English words and use them in a sentence. Write down one goal and one action you will take toward it this week. Close one app that drains your time and open one book that feeds your mind. One thing, today. Because here is what compounding does. And this is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. And it applies not just to money, but to habits, to skills, to character. Small, consistent actions repeated over time produce results that seem impossible from the starting line. You cannot see where daily English practice will take you in a year by looking at one day of it. You cannot see where one daily act of courage will take your life by looking at a single morning. But time reveals everything. And the people who trusted the process, who showed up when it was boring, when it was hard, when no one was watching, those are the people who one day look up and realize they have built something extraordinary. Don't waste your life waiting to feel ready. Don't waste your life on comfort that slowly becomes a cage. Don't waste your English learning on passive exposure that never becomes real expression. Use the language. Use the time. Use the life you have been given. You are not here by accident. You are here with a capacity to think, to grow, to create, to connect, to contribute something that only you can contribute. That is not something to take lightly. The clock is running, not as a threat, as an invitation. Start now. Start imperfectly. Start afraid if you have to, but start.